The wind howled outside, carrying with it a biting chill that seeped through the cracks of the old wooden house. Snow fell relentlessly, blanketing the neighborhood in a dense white sheet. The flickering lights of Christmas decorations outside cast eerie shadows on the walls, and the distant sound of Christmas carols echoed faintly in the air. Christmas Eve has always been magical for me, but this year felt different. The air was heavier, the silence deeper. My parents were away for the weekend, and I was left alone to house sit. The promise of peace and solitude had seemed like a blessing until night fell. I lay on the couch in the living room, wrapped in a blanket, the warm glow of the fireplace dancing across the room. I had been scrolling through my phone when a faint sound pulled my attention. It was subtle at first, a soft crunching noise like footsteps in the snow. My heart quickened. I told myself it was just the wind, maybe a stray cat. But then I heard it again. Footsteps, deliberate, closer. I glanced at the clock. 12:07 a.m. Midnight had passed, and now only the deep hours of the night remained. The kind of hours when the world feels unnervingly still. The knock was firm but not aggressive. 3 times. Each one sent a jolt through me. I froze, staring at the front door. No one should be out this late, especially in this weather. My mind raced. It's probably carolers, or someone who needs help. But deep down, I knew better. I crept to the door, my bare feet silent on the wooden floor. Peering through the peephole, I saw him, a man in a Santa suit. His red velvet coat was dusted with snow, and a sack hung lazily over his shoulder. But something was wrong. His smile was too wide, his eyes glinting with an unnatural light. My breath caught in my throat.
Merry Christmas, won't you let me in?
Every instinct screamed at me to lock the door, to hide, but I couldn't move. My hands trembled as I slowly backed away. Before I could react, the door creaked open. I hadn't unlocked it. I was sure of that. Yet there he stood, towering in the doorway, his boots leaving wet prints on the floor as he stepped inside.
All alone on Christmas Eve. That's no way to spend the holidays.
His voice was smooth, almost melodic, but there was a sharp edge to it that made my skin crawl. I stumbled back, my heart pounding. The room seemed darker now, the warm glow of the fireplace struggling to fend off the encroaching shadows. "Who are you? What do you want?" He chuckled, a low, guttural sound that echoed unnaturally.
Why, I'm Santa, of course, and I've got a very special gift for you.
He reached into his sack, pulling out a small, wrapped box. The paper was crimson, tied with a black ribbon. He held it out to me, his grin widening.
Go on, open it.
I hesitated, but something compelled me to take the box. My hand shook as I untied the ribbon and lifted the lid. Inside was a photograph, a picture of me, taken just moments ago, standing in the living room, staring at the door. I dropped the box, my breath hitching. This isn't real.
Oh, it's very real, and I'm just getting started.
The room grew colder, the fire sputtering out as if snuffed by an unseen hand. He took a step forward and I bolted. My bare feet slapped against the floor as I ran up the stairs, my only thought to hide. I dove into the nearest room, locking the door behind me. My chest heaved as I pressed my ear to the door, listening. The sound of his boots echoed through the house, slow and deliberate. He was in no hurry. He didn't need to be. He's playing with me. Suddenly, his voice rang out, cheerful and mocking.
You can't hide forever. I always find the naughty ones.
I grabbed a heavy candlestick from the dresser, my only weapon. My fingers tightened around it as the doorknob rattled. Then, the door burst open, the force sending me stumbling back. He stood there, his smile grotesque, his eyes alight with malice.
It's time for your gift.
I swung the candlestick with all my strength, connecting with his head. He staggered, but didn't fall. His laughter filled the room, a chilling sound that sent shivers down my spine. No, this can't be happening. I bolted past him, hurtling down the stairs and out the front door into the snow. The cold bit at my skin, but I didn't stop. I ran and ran, the sound of his laughter following me into the night. I finally reached the edge of the neighborhood, collapsing onto the snow-covered ground. My breath came in ragged gasps, and for a moment the world was silent again. I thought I was safe, but then I heard it, the crunch of boots on snow. I turned, and there he was, standing under a street lamp, his red suit now dark with stains I didn't want to identify. He raised a gloved hand and waved, his smile stretching impossibly wide.
Ha ha ha.